to this edition of the Money Mile. Joining me today is Radhika Gupta, one of the most dynamic leaders of the Indian mutual fund industry. She is the CEO at Edelweiss Asset Management. Thanks, Radhika. Great talking to you after many, many years. You've been a great believer, Radhika, of asset allocation. And I think in times like these, what we've seen playing out in the last 2 months, both on the equity side first and then also on the debt side, I think the importance of asset allocation has probably emerged for a lot of people. Can you tell our viewers why it's so critical to have a good asset allocation?
So I'll tell you a small incident, that taught me about asset allocation. And it is this period in 2008 when I had started investing. I was working on Wall Street then. And I had put, because I was a young professional, all of my investments into equities at that point in time. And while the early years were great, obviously 2008 was horrible. And I realized that I can't tolerate a portfolio that is down 50%, especially because I'm a capital markets professional, also married to a capital markets professional with a high risk profession. And I realized, listen, 50% down is not something I can handle. And I think many investors are like that. After 2008, I actually decided to practice asset allocation. I have some amount of my portfolio in debt, some amount of my portfolio in equity, and it's just made handling this crisis easier. Asset allocation is something that's talked in technical terms a lot, I have to say. But what it does is it just protects your downside a little bit. And investing is a tough game. I mean, it's not that tough, but it's also tough, and it's also about it's about being invested for a long enough time. It's about not quitting this journey that you're on. Asset allocation cuts down your losses so that you have the staying power to be in this journey. Because in a time when equity does poorly, like recently, debt does well, and you have a natural cushion in your portfolio. I mean, it's the old Indian adage that, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that is asset allocation for you. And I've personally learned it. I mean, 2020 has been much easier to handle than 2008 because I managed to do asset allocation right.
Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, Radhika, for joining me here and educating our viewers on these very, very important issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.